So a Six Nations rematch has taken place in Pool B this weekend. Ireland versus Scotland. Now Ireland, they are in the box seat, although there are still technicalities that could mean any of these sides do make their way through, including South Africa, who are eagerly awaiting the result of this contest. But both sides have been announced. Both sides looking strong, throwing everything into this game, as it is their chance to make an impact just before the quarterfinals. We will start with the Irish side. Now, something that has been said about Ireland throughout this Rugby World Cup, it's their lineups. They have been consistent, and this is no different, going with a very similar starting lineup to what we did see in their last game, where they were victorious over the Springboks. Looking through at the front row, it is Andrew Porter at number 1, Dan Sheehan at number 2, getting his first start since returning from injury. He came off the bench in the game up against the Springboks when Ronan Kelleher was under huge amounts of pressure and managed to do well, so that is why gets himself that starting spot. And number 3, it will be none other than Tyke Furlong. So a solid front row for the Irish, although I guess when you look through at this whole side, solidarity, is that the word? There is solidarity. Oh yeah, there is solidarity. Doesn't sound right. They're quite solid across their whole team. The Irish will say that instead. But in the lock and jaw, it is Tyke Byrne at number 4. Got his Rugby World Cup off to a blinder, scoring himself 2 tries in the opening fixture. Currently sitting on 3 in total throughout this World Cup competition. And then at number 5, they have gone with Ian Henderson. So still sticking with who we have seen throughout this World Cup. In the loose forward trio, it is Peter O'Mahony at number 6. Number 7, Josh Van den Flair. He really stepped up in that game up against South Africa. Hadn't really lit the world on fire in his first couple contests. Had done enough. And now he'll be looking to have a massive shift in this game up against the Scottish. And then number 8, man who has been putting in a massive shift day after day for the Irish side. It is Caelan Doris, but that is the 4-pack. Looking through at the back line, number 9, Jamison Gibson Park, and number 10, the veteran, Johnny Sexton. He is captain for this game also. He has had a great Rugby World Cup competition. The only thing that will make it greater for him, of course, would be to help Ireland get further than they ever have before. And he is certainly playing some of his best rugby currently. We'll be looking forward to his next challenge just around the corner. Out on the left wing, they have stuck with James Lowe in the centres. It has Bundyaki at 12, currently sitting on 4 tries throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Number 5, number 13, they have gone with Gary Ringrose. Out on the right wing, Mac Hansen, and number 15 to close out the starting lineup for the Irish, it is Hugo Keenan. So only really Dan Sheehan as the main change that we've seen. Also Ian Henderson into the starting lineup for this contest. But now looking through at the reserves for the Irish, number 16, Ronan Kelleher, number 17, David Kilcoyne, and number 18, Finlay Belham. At number 19, they have gone with James Ryan. Number 20, the return of Jack Conan. Number 21, Connor Murray. 22, Jack Crowley. And number 23, to close out the Irish side, it is Stuart McCloskey, a man who we haven't seen a huge amount of throughout this Rugby World Cup campaign, but should be able to have a big impact later on in this contest. Then for the Scottish, after their successful win over Romania last week, 84 points to 0, they're looking to continue that momentum and get themselves a large win over the Irish. In the front row, it is Pierce Skurman at number 1, number 2, George Turner, and number 3, Xander Fagerson. So Scotland going back to their strongest lineup for this contest. They had a bit of a mixed bag team up against the Romanians and still were successful. So they'll be hoping to bring back those big players in this contest, and they could have a real impact. In the lock and jaw, it is Richie Gray at number 4 and Grant Gilchrist slotting in as the number 5. The loose forward trio, quite a few changes compared to what we saw in the last game. Number 6, Jamie Ritchie, he will also be the captain for Scotland. Number 7, it is Rory Darge. And then number 8, they have gone back to Jack Dempsey in the back line. Ali Price starts at number 9 with Finn Russell as the number 10. Now last week, we did see a little bit of a reshuffle in this back line for the Scottish, although this week it seems like everyone is back to where they want to be. Finn Russell versus Johnny Sexton is a matchup that I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to, including myself. I count as people, believe it or not. Number 11, it is Duhan van der Merwe back into the side, ready to have a real impact. Cole staying in that game up against Romania. We didn't see a huge amount of him, but something that will favour Duhan van der Merwe for this game is his size, his speed. If he gets his hands on the ball enough, it could cause a real problem for Mac Hansen. Out on that wing in the centres, it is Sione Tuipulotu at number 12 and number 13, Hugh Jones. Number 14, they've gone with Darcy Graham, the man who scored 4 tries in his last contest up against Romania. And then number 15 to close out the starting lineup, it is Blair Kinghorn. Now looking through at the bench, Ewan Ashman at number 16, number 17 Rory Sutherland, and number 18 WP. Now number 19 Scott Cummings and number 20 Mav Fagerson, two men who were in the starting lineup last week, now find themselves on the reserves for this game. Number 21 Luke Crosby, number 22 George Horn, and number 23 to close out the side. He was playing at 15 last week. It is Ollie Smith, but those are the two lineups. This game taking place at 8 a.m. New Zealand time should be an absolutely awesome one. Like I mentioned, it's not just a rematch of the Six Nations, but this is the one that decides who makes their way through to the quarterfinals. Both of these sides will be going out there to lay it all on the line, and it should be an epic contest. We will be doing the live commentary on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the lineups in the comments down below. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.